Hey guys, it's Cameron, and in this video, I want to go through what you're actually missing to actually land your ideal dream tech roles in the industry. Now, what you're missing is what are proven systems, right? And what I mean by proven systems is ones that you can actually rely upon that are hard-coded systems that can generate you interviews and offers. So nothing got to do with human-based behavior or emotions, but purely based on having reliable, consistent infrastructure that can generate you these interviews and offers. Without a proven system, you're going to be experimenting, which can typically take years. You're going to be testing out different strategies, different tactics, not really knowing too much of what works. Maybe you'll have a little bit of success here and there, but overall, you're still kind of clueless in the entire process. And this is actually something that I had to do. I had to literally do exactly what you're doing right now. And it took me 4 years of experimenting, testing out different strategies, finding out what works to break into Apple as an engineer. I did this from the ages of 17 years old to 21 years old, and that led me into an Apple engineering position. Now, I don't know about you, but spending 4 years doing that, that's an incredibly long time, especially when I was doing 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, thousands of applications, hundreds of interviews, all just to figure this out. It really wasn't that ideal, and it did take a long period of time, and most people would just get disheartened, they get demotivated, and they just wouldn't see it through to the end. So I'll actually just break down everything that I learned that is these proven systems so you can know how to be hired, so you don't have to go through the same 4 years of trial and error and hurdles like I had to do. So let's actually break it down. So the first part is going to be marketing, right? You need to have good marketing when you're a candidate and you're going for good tech roles, right? Or really just kind of any tech roles for that matter, because without having the right marketing, you're going to be seen as a bog standard average candidate, just like the rest of the competition. And if there's one thing you need to know about the tech industry and the tech job market today in 2026, it's that there is extreme amounts of oversaturation and competition, even for the entry level roles that are underpaying. It's incredibly oversaturated. Everybody doesn't know how to be hired in breaking into tech if you're a candidate and you're just starting out. So therefore, there needs to be some level of marketing to differentiate yourself against all of that competition who just simply can't get hired. They're collecting rejections, they're collecting, ghostings and everything like that. So marketing is one of the important key pillars that can help you actually remove yourself from being the same as everybody else, the same as the cluster, and actually showcasing you in a very unique particular way. So you can be seen as an isolated anomaly and incident. So then you actually are assessed appropriately and not with the same level of criteria as everybody else. Now, marketing actually helps with this. Now, this is going to come across with, for example, your messaging, right? What are you actually saying, for example, A, when it's written on things like your LinkedIn, your projects and whatnot, your CV, your cover letters, and also B, in interviews as well. When you're actually speaking to someone in an interview, how are you actually coming across with your messaging, right? What are you saying and what does it mean and the connotations behind what you're saying? Messaging is very important because if you used to say something like, oh, well, I've applied to 1,000 applications and I've received only, 2 interviews and you're one of them and I just really want to get hired. That's the wrong messaging, right? Like you're not going to get hired. They're not going to hire you out of sympathy and pity. They want someone who's actually competent in what they can provide to the company. So that's why messaging is so important. Now, another one is also going to be a USP. Now, a USP is a unique selling point. This is something that you can offer that other candidates simply cannot offer. Now, there's loads of different USPs out there, but it's very important that you pick one that actually works and is correlated to you and something that is unique that you can offer that nobody else can. As I've mentioned, there's plenty of competition out there. There's tens of thousands of computer science graduates every single year, plus the ones from the previous year who couldn't be hired, plus, people in the industry who are looking for the role that you ideally want as well, so on and so on. And you need to make sure that you're standing out above each and every one of them. And I'll give you an example of a USP. Someone who's in the industry and has 10 years worth of experience, that is a USP, right? They have 10 years of experience, and if they're going against candidates who have no experience, then they're going to have that as a USP. Another one, let's just take myself. I've worked at Apple as an engineer in my early 20s. My USP can be working at Apple, right? Because that is a FAANG company, that's huge perception, and that is a unique selling point that other people cannot replicate. Or they can replicate if they have the right systems, but it does take time. They require mentorship and that kind of stuff, which most people simply do not have. So USP is very important as well. It's also going to be about garnering attention online. Now, attention is important, and you may think that this is like, attention seeking or whatever, right? Because it's, social media, it's LinkedIn, that kind of stuff. But in reality, without attention, no one's going to even know you exist, right? Think about it. There's a lot of people you see every single day on places like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. I know that John Kiriakou, CIA guy, is going around quite a bit lately. You've never met him, right? But you still know about him. And why? That's because of the attention that he's garnered online from videos, from edits, and in podcasts. So you need to garner the same amount of attention. Now, it's not going to be the exact same way. You're not going to need to be going on podcasts or anything like that, but you need to be standing out as a candidate in the industry to make sure that you are getting the attention. So recruiters and hiring managers do stumble across what you have to offer and your value there as well. Now, alongside that, it's also going to be about having the right perception. Now, this ties in quickly with the messaging as well, and this is going to be about how you're being perceived by the companies. Are you coming across with the right, aura, perception, making sure that you are being seen in the correct light, opposed to all of the other candidates out there as well. So all of these four key things are very important for marketing. Now let's actually move over to the second pillar, which is reflecting value. Now value is so important because if you don't showcase value, the companies are going to be taking a shot in the dark on if you're actually going to be a good fit to work for them, right? And they don't really want to take that level of risk. Imagine if you had your own company and, someone's got, no kind of showcase of, their skill sets, their background, their experience, nothing. And they're asking you for a job and you're the CEO of this company. Are you going to feel confident in your ability to hire them, knowing or not knowing in this case, what they can actually provide and offer to you if you were to hire them? Well, no, it's going to create like a lot of negative emotions, right? Hesitation, concern, all of these things, ambiguity, and that's not actually going to work in your favor. You need to reflect this value and showcase this to companies and recruiters and hiring managers to be able to be seen in the correct way and know exactly what you can provide to companies as a value if they were to hire you. Now, there's a few key parts that go into this. Number one is going to be social presence, making sure that you do have a professional LinkedIn, you are showcasing the right things and also at the right time to make sure that you are actually getting the attention and you are reflecting that value that you can provide as well. Alongside this is also going to be doing projects. Now, and there's a caveat to this, right? Because when I say reflecting value, there will be some people who go away from this video and think, oh, Cameron just said I just need to do projects. No, that's not the case at all. It goes much deeper than projects. You need like proven systems, you need actual infrastructure, and you need to be showcasing values in basically like a diversified amount and ways, right? It's not going to be coming down just to projects. But projects are an important part because of course it is showcasing value, it is showcasing, for example, your coding ability, what you can offer, and everything like that. But overall, it's not the only thing. Alongside this is also going to be portfolios and also having proof. Proof is going to be really anything that doesn't fit into the following other categories. And it's going to be things like, certifications, your skill set, what you've done in the past, any publications of research, your background and experience, just really anything else. And of course, you can tie this to a USP as well, a USP, just like how we talked about in the marketing. And you can do this based on proof as well. But of course, it does depend. Now, alongside this, we can actually cover the proven systems and infrastructure now. So you need structured systems that reliably print consistent results that you can actually rely on to be able to do this. If you're going to be relying on your emotions in the moment to do things like, for example, applying, then you only see limited results when it comes back to that. And why? Well, because your emotions fluctuate. One day you'll have more motivation than other days. One day you'll apply to 100 roles, the next day you'll apply to 10 roles. So you need some level of proven infrastructure and systems in place that you can rely upon that generates you consistent results based on the inputs that you provide it. Now, this comes under the consistent results for the structured systems as well, but it's also going to be things that are systems, but like not infrastructure as well, right? So like, for example, market analysis tactics. That's something that you're going to have to do yourself and deploy and use and figure out, or you can just learn directly from me, which I'll get into in just a moment. But overall, you do need to conduct good market analysis, and that's something that you have to do on your own behalf. There's no sort of infrastructure that can really do that for you. Alongside that, it's also going to be about overall as an outcome, increasing demand for you, alongside also the outcome of consistent results. If you have proven systems in place and strategies, then you know exactly what to do and when, why it's important, and what to focus on to allow you to land those interviews and offers that you're currently missing out on, which is very important. Now, without these three key pillars, you're going to be collecting rejection emails and ghostings and moving into the future. Now, at the moment, you perhaps may be likely trying many different strategies and none of them are working. and this will likely only continue unless your focus and strategies do change. Because without the right guidance, you're going to be left guessing, doing trial and error over and over and over again for years and years, which is exactly what I had to do. I spent 4 years doing this, so you don't have to. Also, you have to ask yourself this question. If nothing changes, nothing changes. And this is very important because if you stick with the same current strategies that you're using, and the outcomes are rejections and ghostings and not being hired for the dream tech roles that you're looking for, then that's only going to continue.